The microphone screeched when she tapped it, and the entire room went silent. 47 people turned toward her. And then my mother smiled and destroyed me in a single sentence. "I'm leaving everything I own to James," she said, her voice calm, almost proud, "because he's the only real family I have." At first, I thought I misheard her. But then someone laughed nervously. A few heads turned toward me. And I felt that shift in the room. That subtle, suffocating shift where everyone suddenly knew something I didn't. I stood up slowly, my chest tight, my hands trembling just enough that I had to hide them behind my back. "What do you mean, real family?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. She looked me straight in the eyes, in front of everyone, and said, "You were never really mine. I only kept you because your father made me." And just like that, 33 years of calling her mom shattered in front of 47 witnesses. My name is Emily, and for 33 years I believed I belonged to that family. Not biologically, that part was never a secret. My father, Harold, brought me home as a newborn after my birth mother died. Virginia, me mom raised me, fed me, tucked me in, signed my school forms, showed up to my graduations. Or at least, I thought she did it out of love. My brother James was her biological son, 2 years older than me. The golden child, the one who got praised for breathing and rewarded for existing. I was the extra, the good girl, the one who didn't cause trouble, the one who worked harder, tried harder, loved harder, just to earn half the approval he got naturally. But I told myself that's just how families are sometimes, that love doesn't always look equal, that it was still love. After my dad passed away 5 years ago, things changed. Actually, no, they didn't change. They revealed themselves. Virginia stopped pretending. No more birthday calls, no more "I'm proud of you," no more asking how I was doing. But she still called me when she needed something. To help with paperwork, to handle the farm accounts, to fix issues James didn't have time for. And I did it. Every single time. Because somewhere deep inside me, I was still trying to be enough. The reunion that day was supposed to be normal. Annual family gathering, food, laughter, old stories, the smell of grilled meat in the air, kids running around. Aunt Linda gossiping in the corner like always. I even brought dessert. Her favorite. She didn't touch it. Instead, she waited until everyone had eaten, until everyone was relaxed, until every single relative was present. Then she stood up, picked up the microphone, and humiliated me in a way I still feel in my bones. After she said it, no one defended me. Not one person. Some looked uncomfortable. Some avoided eye contact. A few whispered. But no one said, "That's wrong." Not even James. He just sat there, silent, watching, like he'd known all along. I didn't cry. That's what everyone expected. That's what she wanted. But I didn't give her that. I just nodded slowly, like I understood something I'd been blind to my whole life. And then I sat down, finished my drink, and left without saying goodbye. That night I didn't sleep. I replayed every memory, every moment she hugged me, every "I love you," every time I thought she chose me. And now all I could hear was her voice. "I only kept you because your father made me." Kept. Like I was a burden, an obligation, a mistake she tolerated. The next morning, I did something no one expected. I ordered a DNA test. Not because I doubted my past, but because something inside me didn't sit right. Her words weren't just cruel. They were strategic. Like she was trying to justify something, convince everyone, maybe even herself. And I needed to know why. The 2 weeks waiting for those results felt longer than my entire childhood. And in that time, things started to unravel. Little things at first. Aunt Linda called me. Not to comfort me, but to clarify. "You know she's been saying for years that you were never really part of the family," she said carefully. Years. Not just that day. Years. Then my cousin Mark messaged me. "Hey, did you ever notice how James doesn't look like your dad?" I stared at that message for a long time, because I had noticed. But I'd never questioned it. Families don't always look alike. Right? Then came the paperwork. I'd been handling the farm accounts for years, and for the first time I looked deeper. Dates didn't line up, certain records were missing. And one thing stood out so clearly, it made my stomach drop. James's birth certificate had been reissued. Not once, but twice. By the time the DINA results arrived, I already knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how wrong. I opened the email with shaking hands, and the first line hit me like a quiet confirmation. No biological match to Virginia, that part I expected, but then I scrolled down, and everything changed. No biological match to Harold, I froze. Read it again, and again. It didn't make sense. My dad brought me home. He knew I wasn't his biologically. That wasn't the shock. The shock was what came next. A potential match. A 99.8% probability. Shared DINA with James. I couldn't breathe. My brother was biologically related to me. I called the lab immediately. They confirmed it. There was only one logical explanation. James and I shared the same biological parent. And in that moment, everything clicked into place. Virginia's hatred, her distance, her need to prove I didn't belong. It wasn't about me. It was about what I represented. So I dug deeper. Harder this time. I found old records, old hospital documents, and one name kept appearing. A woman. My birth mother. Then I found the truth. The one Virginia had buried for 40 years. My father didn't just bring me home. He had an affair with my birth mother. I was his child, his biological daughter, and James? James wasn't. Virginia knew. She had always known that I was the living proof of her husband's betrayal, and that her perfect son wasn't even Harold's, the man she defended, the son she chose, the one she gave everything to, wasn't even part of the bloodline she used to reject me. I sat there for a long time after realizing it. Not angry, not crying, just clear, for the first time in my life. And then I made my move. I didn't confront her privately. No. She chose a stage. So I gave her one. I called for another family gathering, told everyone I had something important to share. Curiosity spread fast. People came, all 47 of them. Again. Virginia looked annoyed. James looked confused, and I stood where she had stood, holding the same microphone. "I just wanted to clear something up," I said calmly. My voice didn't shake. Not once. I took a DINA test. The room went quiet instantly. I could feel her watching me, tense. "And you were right, Virginia," I continued. "I'm not your biological daughter." A small, satisfied smile appeared on her face. For a second. "But you left something out." And then I turned and looked straight at James. "I am Harold's daughter." Silence. Heavy. Confused. Explosive. "And James," I paused just long enough for it to land, "isn't." It was like the air got sucked out of the room. Virginia's face went white. James stood up immediately. "What the hell are you talking about?" So I handed them the documents, the test results, the proof, every piece. "No," Virginia whispered. But it wasn't denial. It was fear. Because she knew. She had always known. "You spent 33 years treating me like I didn't belong," I said, my voice still steady. "But the truth is, I was the only one who did." The fallout was instant. Relatives turned. Questions flew. Whispers turned into accusations. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one being judged. Virginia lost everything that day. Not the farm. Not the house. Something far more important. Control. Respect. The narrative she had built for decades. James stopped speaking to her within a month. Because the truth didn't just expose her, it broke him too. And me? I walked away. Not with property. Not with inheritance. but with something I had been chasing my entire life. Truth. I didn't need her love anymore. Because I finally understood something she never wanted me to realize. I was never the outsider. I was the reminder, the living proof of a truth she couldn't control. And in the end, the same weapon she used to destroy me exposed her completely. If you've ever been the one who felt like you didn't belong, sometimes it's not because you were less, it's because you were the truth no one else wanted to face.